Looks like some of y'all are here. I'm still finishing up my first row. But that's okay. I'll get set up and give everybody a chance to hop in and get ready. I have a feeling it's going to be quiet today. That's okay. Hello, hello. Hi, Sarah. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Maywin. I was not entirely sure that I was going to be prepared to start on row 2 of this today, but I made it in time. Barely. Just finished sewing in my ends from row 1. Thank you for the subscribe, Sarah. Appreciate that. Ah, Marna, yes, the 3D printing a shuttle idea. Does it work? How'd it work out? Doing a split collar. That was probably a smart idea. I was gonna maybe do this one as a split and decided I better not, because if I did that, I probably would never finish the second half. Too many other projects going on at the same time. One of these days I will be organized. Today is not that day. Oh, Marna, that's so cool. I'm so glad to hear that. I know that the 3D printing thing, like, I think sometimes on new projects it can take a couple tries to get things to work just right. And my partner has a 3D printer, but it's not operational at the moment. But when it was, I know that he would occasionally have issues with it. And it seems like one of those things where you're constantly having to adjust things. But that's cool. I'm glad that it seems like it's going to work out. I'm excited to hear updates in the future. I think there was somebody else who was working on trying to 3D print the bobbin style shuttles. Definitely some cool possibilities with that. I'm gonna give it a little bit longer and see if we have anybody else coming in to join us. Nice. It's good that it's a fast print. Does it print in 2 pieces? Or does it print in 1 piece? Because that was the one thing I was like, I don't know how that would work. I would almost feel like you have to do it in 2 pieces. And I tried to put the chat box on the screen today, and I don't know if I don't think it worked. So that's not fun. I've been having so many technical issues this week, it's not even funny. Gotcha. Okay, so all 1 piece, but with supports in the middle. That makes sense. Yeah, I think the only, like, because I've seen the patterns, I guess. I don't know what else you would call them. Like, 3D print patterns for shuttles, and they were all the post-style ones. But I'm pretty sure somebody else, one of my friends, was talking about 3D printing a bobbin-style one. That they actually modeled up themselves, so I might have dreamed that up. I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure I remember that happening, though. You ever have one of those weeks where each day feels like a year, but the week feels like an hour? Because it's been one of those weeks for me. Yes, yes. Ugh. I've been doing all of the things and getting things done, but yeah. It's, whew. I'm tired today, too, so I apologize ahead of time if I am yawning a lot. I cannot help it. Yeah, I didn't know what kinds of files were out there. So, it's cool. Hi, Sandra. How are you? I'm trying to give everybody some time to get joined in here. So we can get going. I'm doing pretty good today. I'm sleepy today. Not that that's anything new. I should say sleepier than usual, but it is what it is. We're here and we're doing the thing. Yeah, I had to sew my ends in too. When I was still sewing them in when I decided to hop on. I tried to get on a few minutes early today, just because last time I had technical issues and I was afraid that was going to happen again, which it didn't, thankfully, but also I don't think my little chat box and alert box things are working on my Streamlabs, so I don't know what's up with that. I was hoping to put the chat box up like on the actual video screen so that when I post the replay, people will be able to actually see the chat and I don't have to read the comments back to make sense of what y'all are saying for those watching the replay. But apparently that's not working right now, so I tried. I did try. Marshmallow fluff, yum. How do you I've only ever bought marshmallow fluff. How do you make marshmallow fluff? I feel like we've set a precedent with the food talk being required now, too. Can't buy it there. Interesting. That does seem like a very American thing, to be honest, marshmallow fluff. So I'm not too surprised by that. It's pretty easy, but it takes forever. Yeah, I can't say that I buy marshmallow fluff all that often either. Like, that was not something I had as a child growing up, so it's not like... I forget that it exists, honestly. I forget a lot of foods exist. Like, if it's not something I buy regularly, I forget that it's there. But marshmallows are one of the few treats that I can still have, so I do buy it occasionally now. I got some different gummies yesterday too that were pretty good. They were like sour watermelon gummies. Made very similar to Swiss meringue. I have no idea how to make Swiss meringue either, so. But that at least gives me something to look up, I suppose. It's a special food, yes. I agree, Sarah. It's like, for me, like, when I was a kid, like, the kids that had marshmallow fluff sandwiches at lunch were, like, the rich kids. Like, to me, that was, like, rich people food. I don't know whether that's, like, actually a thing or not, but, like, just in my head, at least, it was. And, of course, you know, to me, we were very, very poor when I was growing up, so, like, everybody had more money than we did. So, like, everybody was rich to me. Like, if you had a house and didn't live in a low-income apartment, you were rich. To me. The sugar syrup takes ages to get to temperature. Oh, so you like make it from scratch? Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested in the recipe. I'd try it. Yeah, you can share it here. Feel free. Y'all have sent me so many recipes. I have a whole list. Like, I have a bunch of browser tabs open with recipes that y'all have sent me just from chats and new stuff to try. I'm excited. I'm gonna try some new recipes this week if I have energy. You can't get corn syrup there? Wow. Homemade marshmallow fluff. I bet the homemade stuff, like, tastes better, too. Isn't that always how it works? That looks like a good site. Yeah, thank you for that. Excuse me. Alright, are we ready to get started? I don't know that we're going to get too many more people jumping in today. I forgot that it was Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know how big of a deal that is. Hi, Sweetling. Y'all let me know if you're ready or if we need a few more minutes. No, I am not a sports ball person either. But I wasn't sure. I didn't think about it until like 15 minutes before I was ready to start. Because I saw a post on Instagram from one of my friends who is very much a sports ball person. You're just here to chill. That's fine. You can just be here to chill. That's no big deal. But yeah, I saw a post on Instagram from them and I was like, oh, that's right. It's a sports ball day. So I don't know how many other people are actually into that and also would want to be here for this. I don't know. I don't know if it's actually a competition between things or not. Is the view on demand for the first part of this up? Yes, it is. And if you can't find it here on my Twitch, because I know that they disappear after a little while, it's actually uploaded to my YouTube. So there is a whole playlist for Stitch-alongs on my YouTube now where I'm going to put the replays up. Football isn't a thing there? Yeah. I haven't watched football since I was like 10, you know, because we used to do the whole, like, my dad would watch it occasionally, but we would do the whole, like, Super Bowl Sunday party thing, but, like, nobody in my family actually cared about football, so I don't know why we did it. Like, yes, we're starting row 2. What do I need to start row 2? So, for row 2, you are only going to need 2 shuttles, so you can drop 1 shuttle, so we are back to just our regular 2 shuttles, and you will need 1 shuttle. Your primary shuttle 1 is going to need the color that you are using for your skulls, and then your shuttle 2 will need your other accent color, whichever color that is. So whichever color your chains with the throne rings, the reverse rings are, is going to be your shuttle 2. Sandra, I also hope that your candy thermometer battery doesn't die and goes off when it's the right temperature, because burnt sugar is not a good smell. That is a bad vibe. Yeah, I don't know that I hate sports. Like, obviously I wouldn't want to participate in sports. I'm not a sports person. Like, it doesn't bother me. It's just not something I'm into. Neither is burning cheese sausage when you forgot to turn off the pot. Oh my goodness. No. No. That's not good either. No setting the kitchen on fire today, Sandra. We're not doing that today. I just want to make sure I give everybody a chance to get ready because I want to show y'all how I start row 2, which this method is going to be up in the next video I'm going to post to my YouTube. For all of the various ways to hide ends. But I figured I would go ahead and show y'all in this too. Because it's very, very handy, especially when you are needing to use 2 colors, because you can't always start continuous thread method. Weld the pot to the stove. Oh my goodness. How in the world? That has to be... I don't even know how hot you would have to get that for that to work. But I will say that I have an electric kettle and I love it. I love my electric kettle. It is fantastic. So many questions, yes, so many questions. Yeah, so I am super fancy with my coffee, and I got rid of my coffee pot years and years ago, and now I just use a French press. So if you use a French press, electric kettle is like, you can't go without it. Like, it is the best thing ever. I love my electric kettle. Every rental place is fully furnished and an electric kettle is part of the stuff already in it in Ireland, huh? That is really, really cool. Hi, Goblin. See, I was all ready to start like 5 to 10 minutes ago, and now we're still getting people popping in, so I should probably wait just a little bit longer. Oh, Marna, that sounds fancy. A hot water dispenser that keeps the water hot all the time. I will say that the water that comes out of my faucet is probably hot enough for tea already. It's pretty hot. No worries, Goblin. I'm glad that you were able to pop in for a few minutes at least. This replay will be posted to my YouTube with the part 1, same place. So if you have to bounce, it will still be available later. I don't know, maybe it's just like a here thing, but most people here don't have electric kettles. I don't know if that's like a regional thing here. Yeah, the electric kettle is really, really fast. Oh yeah, mine has different temperatures, so it has, and they're actually like, you can set it by the actual temperature, but they also tell you like what setting is good for what teas. So like there's a white tea setting and an herbal tea setting and a black tea setting, and then there's a boil setting. So it's pretty fancy. Yes, I do like my showers to be boiling hot. Unfortunately, that's not great with my pots, but, you know, we all make sacrifices. Oh, Doran, you're making your own birthday cake. Happy early birthday. So I still keep a stovetop kettle. I have a stovetop kettle just in case the power goes out, because we have a gas stove. So if the power goes out, I can still heat water. But I really like my electric kettle. And it wasn't super expensive. I think it was like maybe $30 or $40. It wasn't, it wasn't like anything crazy, ridiculous expensive. Why did Twitch censor meat thermometer? I have no idea. That is really strange. It's not censored on my end, so maybe that is on your end? I don't know. Twitch is silly. Yes, Twitch is very silly. Doran, I usually end up making my own birthday cake too because I have so many food sensitivities that like I can't even buy a pre-made cake. Like even the allergen-friendly cakes have stuff in them that I can't eat, so like, I usually make my own cake too. It's fine. Oh yeah, the child safety settings might be on. Oh, yeah, safe chat. That's probably why it censored that. But that is kind of a weird thing to censor still. Meat thermometer. Did it censor meat or like thermometer? Like, that's... What? Random stuff. It censors random stuff. That is very random though. That is incredibly random. Okay, are we ready? Is everybody ready? Are we good to go? Ends are sewn, hooray! Good job, Sarah. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and get started and show y'all how I start row 2 seamlessly without having to sew ends in with a needle afterwards, because I am like that. Y'all know I am lazy. Hi, Emrail, welcome. Darastrix, yes. Feel free to pop in and out as needed. No worries. Okay, so for our row 2, because we are starting with a lock join to our row 1 across the top here, so we're going to be working in the opposite direction because we're working with our chains facing outwards towards the top of the piece. So we are going to be working from left to right as usual, but on the top side of our row 1. So we're going to start with a lock join to this little end ring over here. But because I'm using 2 colors, if you were using 1 color, you could absolutely start this continuous thread method and no big deal, works just fine, everything's nice and easy. But because I'm using 2 colors for the color work pattern, I'm going to take my shuttle 2, which is going to be my chain thread, and I'm going to make my lock join to start this with my shuttle 2 thread. I'm just using the hook on my shuttle 1 to make this join. And this join starts in the center picot of this cluster of 5 picots, so there's 2 on either side. That is the easiest way to remember that. Get that out of the way here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a lock join. If you wanted to, you could actually just pull this thread all the way through. It doesn't have to be a lock join. I do either way. It's not a big deal. And then I'm going to treat this long piece here, this long tail, as though it is my core thread and wrap it around my pinky. So you can make that however long you're comfortable with. And then I'm going to take my shuttle 1 thread and also make it the core thread and wrap it around my pinky. So now I have those 2 threads as my core thread to start this, but it's my shuttle 2 thread that's anchored through the picot. If you have thread left on the shuttles from the first row, is there a way to continue on to row 2, or is it really needed to cut and sew in the ends and start fresh? So that depends entirely on if you're doing the color work. If you're doing the color work, then you do need to cut and sew and then start the row 2 completely separately. If you are doing a single color and you don't want to cut thread and you have enough thread left on your shuttles to make it worth it, you can actually make this last ring a split ring. So you're going to work up to this, where this picot would be with your shuttle 1, and then you're going to make the rest of this as a split ring to kind of work out. And then you can continue the work without cutting thread. But because I am doing the color work, I have to cut the thread. So depends on which way you're doing it. Okay, so I have my shuttle 2 thread anchored through the picot, and my shuttle 1 thread is just kind of hanging out there. And I'm going to go ahead and start my pattern and make this chain A from the pattern. And again, I get really particular about making sure that these 2 core threads don't twist, so that I get a nice flat, smooth chain. If you try this technique of holding 2 threads together through the core thread to hide ends, and you find that it looks kind of lumpy or misshapen, that's usually because you have a twist somewhere where these 2 threads got twisted over each other. Okay, so now I have my chain A complete, and I'm gonna go ahead and make just a little half of a knot. This is basically just a little half of a square knot. Sometimes it's also called a shoelace trick. Basically like tying your shoes. This is completely optional. I like to do it just to make sure my ends are nice and secure. It is totally not required. And now I can make my ring B with my shuttle 1, and this is going to anchor that shuttle 1 thread. And this is also going to make the, oh shoot, you know what I did? I have my thread colors wrong. Y'all. Okay, so that totally is the right way to sew all of that in and make, or not sew, but start all of that, but I have my thread colors backwards. So I'm gonna start this over really quick. Wow. I told y'all I was tired today, didn't I? So we need our colors to be, because we're trying to make the little, the forehead to our little skulls. So my colors need to be the opposite. So if I told you to start with your colors on the wrong shuttles, I'm sorry. All that time I spent at the beginning of this and did not even realize. Wow. So there's your proof that this is live and not pre-recorded. Edited out of the YouTube, yeah. Except I'm not going to go over and explain, hey look, the chat started working for some reason, all of a sudden. There we go. I would have to go back and explain all of the steps to start. Which I suppose I can. My goodness, y'all. I never claimed to be perfect. I cannot believe I did that. Now you get ASMR. There you go. So we'll put that one over there. I'm gonna wind this one off onto here. Perfection is completely overrated, yes. Yes, I'm swapping which colors on which shuttle purely because I have made it such a habit to always have my post shuttle be my chains and my bobbin shuttle be my rings, that if I tried to just swap the shuttles and use them the other way, it's too difficult for my brain. I can't switch it back and forth like that. So I'm just switching my thread colors to the other shuttle. So, we need, let's see, I can't remember which colors I called what. What did I call? Color A on shuttle 2 and color B on shuttle 1. The bobbin sounds like a bad duck impression. It kind of does. It's so loud, y'all. I'm sorry. There we go. Now you can just get the clicks. Is there a way when you make the first lock join onto the picot to keep the picot from twisting as you go along? Partially it has to do with like there may be a little bit of twist buildup in the thread that's in the picot. That happens sometimes. If you make your picots, like your join picots, a lot smaller, that will help. But once you get that first ring down, that should kind of lock everything into place. And if it does twist, it's no big deal. It's not gonna hurt anything. Twisted picots are actually something that can be used as like a design choice. In fact, these celestial patterns I've been working on, the sun and the star specifically, have twisted picots as part of the design. So twisted picots aren't necessarily a bad thing. It's just, you know, whether or not that's what you intended to do. Yeah, those patterns are really fun. I worked on them a little bit more this morning. I decided to get the, I've already started working on March's Pattern Club pattern. and I decided I want to get March and April actually finished up before I focus on finishing the Celestial patterns, because if I have a couple months of the pattern club ready to go, that kind of frees me up on feeling rushed to get through them. Because I feel like I'm always last minute with those. I'm trying to be better about planning ahead. We'll see how it goes. But for once, I actually know what I want to do for the pattern club, like, ahead of time, so usually I'm kind of deciding last minute what I even want to do. So if you thought I was one of those super organized people that has a schedule and, like, plans everything out months in advance, I hate to bust your bubble, but I am not. Not yet. Yeah, I'm working on it. It's just one of those ADHD brain things. Schedules are not my strong suit. At least I realized that my colors were in the wrong spot before I got, like, super far into the row. Because I could also see me doing that. Love you a schedule. So I actually did just get an app that I'm going to try to, like, help me stay on task and stay focused. We'll see if it works. The app I downloaded is called, shoot, what is it called? Structured. It's called Structured. I'm liking it so far. It's enough that it kind of helps me stay on task and, like, organize my brain a little bit on what I'm supposed to be doing, but not so much that I get, like, overwhelmed. Okay, starting this again. Same method. My shuttle 2 is joined to my Pico. Yeah, thank you, Sarah. It's, you know, I feel like I'm finally kind of settling into a routine with everything with the business, and I have so many things I want to get done and so many fun projects I would like to do that I really do need to try to schedule things ahead of time, and try to get ahead of that and not just be kind of flying by the seat of my pants the whole time. So we'll see how it works. Okay, so I've got my 2 core threads, and I'm making my chain A in the correct colors. All right, and now I'm gonna do my little half of a stitch here, half of a knot. And now I can make my chain B as appropriate. Oh no, Sarah. I'm sorry. It seems like that kind of day, to be honest. It's just... You know, this is part of crafting, though. Like, making mistakes and then having to fix them. That is just part of the process. Okay. There we go. Now we have our first little skull. So now his little forehead is the right color. Yes, making mistakes is a great way to learn, Sweetling. That is absolutely true. Completely agree with that. So technically, the shuttle 1 thread and that start of the shuttle 2 thread are completely secure. If you wanted to go ahead and clip them off, you could. I like to go ahead and encapsulate this little shuttle 2 end in one more chain, just to be sure. I probably go a little bit overboard with trying to make sure that my ends are super, super secure. But I figure it doesn't hurt anything just to go that extra bit. Yes, the little scullies are so cute. And the good news is this top row goes really fast. So we may even finish this on stream today. We'll see. We'll see how good I can focus. Yes, better, more secure than having it fall apart. Yep, completely agree. Most people, when they sew in ends with tatting, at least the way that I was taught, most people only sew in maybe like 4 to 5 stitches length at the most. And I go through either a whole ring or a whole chain whenever possible. So that's, and here, like, I went through 2 whole chains, but also my method is a lot easier for hiding ends, I feel like. So it's not as much of a pain in the ass to do it my way. So I might as well just, you know, put it through as much as I can. But now I will drop that. And the thing with these row 2 rings to remember is that they skip every other spot so that you are only joining between the skulls. So these rings, these little joining rings, are only going to be above where the same color chains with those throne rings are. So you kind of have to watch that because it's easy to sort of lose count if you are doing it in a solid color, but if you're doing the 2 colors, it makes it a little bit easier to see. Yeah, Doran, they blend in better if you go through the whole ring, because then you don't have like a little bump where it has less, where it's like 2 core threads and then 1 core thread. I feel like, I don't know. Is it completely, absolutely necessary? Probably not. Do I do it all of the time, 100% of the time anyways? Yes. Yes, I do. And yeah, like 90% of my ends are worked in as I go. So I only end up with 1 or 2 threads to actually sew in at the end. And that is it. We just go across the whole top here to complete these little scullies. Yeah, Sweetling. It definitely helps to like keep it more consistent. And you know, I feel like it's the little things like that where honestly you may not notice it once you step back and take a look at the whole piece. Like, it may not really be as visible of a difference, but I feel like overall, if you're consistent with it, it really does make the piece look nicer in the end. Even if it's, you know, you may not be able to point out and look at, say, that spot right there is sticking out and looking weird, and that's why the whole piece looks weird. But it's just a very subtle difference, but I feel like it makes a difference. Just like all of the techniques that I posted in the video that went up this morning on my YouTube, that are like 4 different techniques that I always do that I think just make my tatted pieces look a little bit nicer. They're all very, very subtle things, very simple things, but I feel like I get a better result because of them. Which 2 ends did I tie at the end of my chain? You mean for that little half knot that I did right here? It was the shuttle 1 thread and then the tail end from the shuttle 2 thread that I had held together with it in the core. Thank you for the sub, Oren. Appreciate it. So it was essentially the 2 core threads that I tied. Just a little half knot. I found that if you do a whole knot, like a square knot, it's bulky and it kind of stands out. But the half knot is still pretty secure and it sort of hides itself a little bit better. Like you can't really see where it was. It was right there. And it just kind of pulls into the center of the chain a little bit. Oh no, Oren. Do you have any of the, shoot, what's it called? The, like, clear plastic bandage stuff? Trying to remember. The words completely left my brain. But my tattoo artist uses it. And I keep some at home because it's really, really handy. It's like a clear sticky bandage, but it's like a medical bandage, so it's good for tattoos because it still breathes. But if you had some of that to put on it, that would probably... Yeah, Tagaderm, or whatever the off-brand is called. Yes. Yeah, Sandra, the chat just started working. I don't know why it wasn't working before. I didn't change anything. It just popped up. So I'm glad that it did. Maybe it heard me complaining and decided to take it easy on me. How did your fluff turn out? Just a little bit sore. Yeah, that makes sense. I wasn't sure how old they were. Very fluffy. Yum. You know what I haven't had in forever? You talking about marshmallow fluff made me think of this. But homemade Rice Krispie treats. That sounds delicious right now. And that's something I can have. I'm gonna have to go get some marshmallows and make some Rice Krispie treats. Yeah, I haven't had them in years either. And like the last time I had one, it was like one of the Rice Krispie brand like pre-packaged ones, and they do not taste the same. Oh, just last night. Okay, then yes, I can understand why they're a little bit sore. Take it easy if you need to. This top row goes very fast, so if you need to just hang out today and not actually tat with us, like, that's also just fine. Sweetling, I would say that the pre-made ones, like, are okay if you are, like, desperate, but yeah, like, they don't compare to homemade at all. You broke a spatula? It does get very sticky. I wonder if I can make it with Chex. I don't have any Rice Krispies, but I do have some Chex cereal. Like the Honey Nut Chex. That is honestly kind of impressive. I broke a spoon making peanut butter cookies one time, so, you know. Somebody remind me next time to resize the chat box so it actually shows the whole chat. If it works that time. Chex Crispy treats are good? Good to know. I would assume that they would be. I mean, it's marshmallows and cereal, so I don't know how you can really go wrong with that. Look at the little skulls. They're so adorable. I love them so much. Sandra, please feel free to store some at my house. I'm sure it'll be fine to ship it. 6 weeks at room temperature. That's pretty good. That's pretty decent. It might make it here in time with the way the mail has been lately. I was gonna say 6 weeks sounds like a long time for it to last before it's gone anyways, so that is pretty good. Aw, Sweetling, I'm sorry that your Advil is taking too long to kick in. That's the worst. So something I was looking at this morning was some new merch options that I can get, like t-shirts and things like that. And the place that I typically use now has a spiral notebook option. So I was thinking about maybe doing a couple of different spiral notebooks with some different designs. Yes, basically it was just the shoelace trick. Yes. And it was only at the end of the first one, not the second one. Just like right in the middle between where the... So that end from starting, the long end of the white thread goes through both this chain and this chain, and then that little half knot, that shoelace trick knot, is right in the middle between the two. Yeah, so the notebooks, they're like 5.5 by 8.5, and it's a hardcover, and they have the dot grid paper in them. So I was trying to decide if I should do like maybe like the Motivated by Spite little design that I have, or like one of my other sticker designs, or if I should do like an all over like graphic drawing version of a tatted lace pattern, or if I should like take a picture of some tatted lace and like a nice picture and make it fancy like that. Yeah, I wish they had other options, but they only have the dot grid. They don't have like blank or lined or anything. But I think a lot of people like the dot grid, so that might be okay. Huge sucker for a dot grid. You like the first two ideas? So I know everyone loves the Motivated by Spite stickers that I have, so I could definitely just like throw that one on there. And then I was trying to decide if I do a lace pattern either as a photograph or as like a graphic drawing version, which would basically be kind of like how I do my charts, but like pretty and fancier and not like as a pattern chart. If I wanted to do like an edging pattern or like an all over pattern or like what I would do. Motivated by spite is so good. Yes. I mean, that's like literally my entire things. Like that's my whole personality right there. That's it. But I need to order one and just make sure that the quality is going to be good. See, that's the problem, Sarah, is I would like to make all of them. A massive tea mug, like bucket size. I don't know if I can get a bucket size tea mug, but I will look and see. With the spite, motivated by spite design, or with a different design, Sandra, on the tea mug. A small bucket. Maybe I'll just do up a couple of different ones and then like let people vote. Motivated by spite for sure. Okay. I can definitely make that happen because that design is basically good to go. So I just need to like slap it on the thing and put it in the shop. Yeah, maybe I'll just do a couple mock-ups and then we'll see what people like once they can actually see what it looks like. Yeah, Sandra, I'll have to look and see what the options are, because from the place that I use, I'm not sure what they have available right now with the coffee mugs, because it's been a while since I looked at their offerings. I used to have a coffee mug design up, and it was the color change one, but it was not a big mug. It was like a standard size mug. I mean, they honestly have a lot, so, like, I can get a lot of different, like, clothing type stuff, so, like, t-shirts and sweatshirts and leggings and all kinds of stuff like that. And they also have, like, phone cases and tote bags and backpacks and stuff like that. See, I like little mugs because if I have a little mug, I will actually drink my coffee or tea or whatever before it goes cold, whereas with a big mug, it goes cold before I finish drinking it. Oh, hey, the sun came out for a minute. Always end up drinking your coffee cold. I can't drink cold coffee unless it's iced coffee. That's completely different. But like room temperature coffee, nah, not happening. No, thank you. Cold brew, yes. Cold brew is completely different. You can drink cold brew warm too? I mean, yeah, you could, but why would you not just make hot coffee? Okay, that makes sense, Sandra. Bye, Sarah. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little bit. I hope you have a nice sleep. Oh, the cold brew concentrate with hot water. So it's like, it's almost like using instant coffee, but like better, like upgraded. That's kind of smart. So the coffee, like if I use regular, like grocery store brand coffee, I get heartburn too. But I found that if I buy better quality coffee, I don't. And I'm really lucky that we have a local place. It's actually Coffees and Chocolates that has really good quality coffee and like a lot of different flavored coffees and just like ethically fair traded coffees and stuff available that I can get locally. So that's what I buy. I buy expensive fancy coffee and I'm not sorry about it. Yeah, French press does generally have more acidity. Yeah, Seattle does have a lot of coffee options, yes. Actually, so the place that I get my coffee from is called Winans. It's WINAN apostrophe S, Winans Coffee and Chocolates. They're a local company, but they do ship their coffee. So definitely recommend trying it. And it's honestly very reasonably priced for being what it is. I think it's somewhere between like $16 and $18 for a pound. So it's really not like anything ridiculously expensive. Yeah, Sandra, when I can get it, I like to get a pour over. That's my favorite, but I do not have the patience for that at home. Brazilian yellow bourbon coffee beans. Yum. I'll have to look for that. The one I have right now is a pecan caramel brulee flavor. Very delicious. They also have one called Highlander Grog that's like an Irish cream flavor. So good. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, I like non-flavored too. I like to switch back and forth between like a flavored and a non-flavored. Oh, Emerald, I'm sorry that you can't have coffee. What about like chicory coffee? Does that work for you? I've never tried it, but people tell me that if you make it right, it tastes very close to the same. Oh, there you go. That's not too bad then. At least you have an option. That's good. So with the pots, I'm supposed to like watch my caffeine intake because it's not, stimulants are not great with pots. But with the unmedicated ADHD, when I tried to go to like half calf coffee and like cut back on my caffeine, I basically was completely non-functional because my brain would not focus. So I was like, that doesn't work. So yeah, we went back to the regular coffee, and the pots is just gonna have to deal with it. Sandra. That's our Max. That does remind me, though, for everyone who has been asking to see, like, has been telling me that the sovereign pattern, the little mini crown, needs to be modeled on a cat. I do, in fact, have some pictures that I will be posting all over the place later. So y'all can look forward to that. They're fantastic. Yeah, so my friend Ashley, who runs Old Growth Alchemy, which I've talked about on here before because the best teas and bitters available anywhere in the entire world. But their cat is like the most ridiculously spoiled majestic cat that I know of, which is good. He's a good boy. So I sent them one of the crowns because they are also a awesome photographer, and was like, if you could just like snap a few quick pics of Django wearing this crown, that would be great. And they completely went over the top with it, and it's fantastic. Yes, make a crown for Toothless. Yeah, so the pics are amazing. I'm so excited to share them. All the hats for all the cats. Yeah. Look, I'm more than halfway already. I told you all this top row goes fast. It's also what's going to give it more of a curve and kind of pull everything in. Trying to decide if you can, or in a crown small enough for the snake. I absolutely think you could. Somebody showed me a picture of a little tatted crown that somebody put on like a gecko. So I feel very confident that you could make one size for a snake. Doran, clearly the solution to that is that all of the dogs get crowns. That seems like the best solution. I need to make more crowns. Crowns are fun to make. I have so many ideas for like different types of crowns to make. Should I do more crown patterns, like different kinds of crowns? Either for the pattern club or just like on their own. Do y'all want that? I could do that. Yes, crowns. I could do one that's more of like a, not a tiara, but like the like head chain style. Skeleton crown. That would be cool. Wonder if I could make that work. I made a crown last year that has not been released yet because it's part of a special project that got a little bit delayed, but it was like an Art Nouveau style crown and it turned out so cool. I can't wait until I get to post that one. Yeah, they're definitely not something that is like a regular wear kind of piece, but they're so fun. And honestly, a lot of the like necklace and choker collar style patterns can be adapted to crowns. So like it would stand to reason that you could adapt a crown pattern to be like a collar or a necklace. Yeah, or even, like, the phase pattern with the moon phases, that pattern, if you make just the tatted piece, or you could do it with the charms on it too, I guess. But it makes a really good, like, little, the forehead tiara style, like, where it's, like, lays across your forehead. Like literally you can just take it as a necklace and then like drape it across your face and it looks really cool. Rainbow crowns should definitely be a thing for the wedding, Orin. That's a fantastic idea. Ooh, a mask, yes. I would love to do a mask. That has been on my list for years. To design like a masquerade mask. Could I tat Adam's mask from Skate the Infinity? Probably yes I could, but why the hell would I want to have anything to do with that motherfucker? Fuck Adam. I am almost done with the row already, yes. But this is cool because I will get to show y'all how I finish this, which if you're familiar with my double back method, then you'll already know that that's what I'm going to use. But if you're not, then you'll get to see it in action. Yeah. So Skate the Infinity is one of my, like, special interest hyper-focus animes. I fucking love that show. I have watched it, I don't even know how many times by now. It is fantastic. And Adam is the antagonist. And we hate Adam. I hate Adam. Adam can jump off of a cliff. Do not like him. But that's like the good, like that's, you know, there always has to be one, right? It is very good. I highly recommend that you watch it, Marna. Completely fantastic. But I have a personal vendetta against Adam. Like, if somebody was like, you have an opportunity to go to, like, one fictional world and beat up one character out of all the fictional worlds you've ever, like, read or seen, I would go beat the shit out of Adam. Completely. Yeah, I'm typically not into sports anime at all, Marna, but this one is so good, and it's very, very gay. Like, it is so good. And also, it's skateboarding, so it's not, like, super sportsy. It's not like Haikyuu or Stars Align or any of those. It's a little different. Literally one of my favorite animes out of the past year to come out last year. Yes. It's so gay. It is more gay than Yuri on Ice. Like, and we all know Yuri on Ice is pretty damn gay. I love Given. Given is fantastic. The movie absolutely wrecked me. Given is also one of my favorite animes from recent years. I will say that Skate is not, yeah, so there was a Given movie that released pretty recently, fairly recently. It was really, really good. It was really good. So Given is more, like, Given actually goes there with the gay. Skate is very, very gay without making it, like, actually be like, without getting this the censorship of being gay, like, you know what I mean? Oh, I know, I want to see Belle too. Or, and that happens sometimes. Like, sometimes I will go months without watching, like, any TV, anime, anything, without reading books or anything, because my brain just won't focus on it. And then, like, binge watch a whole bunch of stuff all in a row. So, it happens. Yeah, Belle is not in any theaters near here. Even if it was, I don't know that I would necessarily go, because not super comfortable in public places around here still. But yeah, I can't wait to watch it. Also very much looking forward to the Jujutsu Kaisen movie with Gojo's backstory. Cannot wait for that. Oh, that's disappointing. Yeah, I haven't been to a con in years. I've actually never been to an anime con. We used to go to a gaming con though. But yeah, it's been a long, long time ago since we did that. All right. I am down to just my last chain, and to make it mirror this side, we are going to end with a chain with no ring. So to do that, I'm going to cut about 2 hand wraps worth of thread off of my shuttle 1. And then I'm going to pull that through my joining picot, just like I did at the start. But on this side, it is very important that it can actually slide. So we cannot make a lock join instead. It has to actually go through the picot. So it's just doubled back through the picot, like so. And it doesn't matter if you go from front to back or back to front. Either way, it turns out the same. And then I'm just going to hold the end of tail of that back with where it starts here at the base of my last ring. And now I'm going to tack my last chain over top of these 2 threads as the core thread. Okay, so now I have my last chain complete. And it is tatted over this little loop that I have here. So now I can grab that end and just pull, and it's going to close this doubled back loop. until I get it all the way down to where it's supposed to be. And now my last little chain is joined to that picot nice and neat. And this is super, super handy because if I were to make a regular chain and then end here, I would have to tie a knot around this picot, which gets bulky. And then I have to hide both of my ends into this one area. But now, because I have my ends in two different spots, I can sew them in to this ring and this ring, and it's just a little bit neater and less bulky, trying to hide everything. And honestly, if you really wanted to, you could just cut this one off because it's doubled back through there. I like to go ahead and sew it in again just to be extra secure. Like I said, I'm a little bit over the top when it comes to making sure my ends are secure. But that's it. That's all there is to it. So easy. Yes, it's like magic. All of my little tricks and things are all about how to make things faster and easier and less of a pain in the ass. That's my entire purpose. And then I'm going to do my usual method to sew in the ends and split my tails. Weaving lost souls into a collar. Yes. I love that. I thought about calling the pattern Death Starling, but like all of my other patterns are one word names, and it seemed like it was gonna be weird to have it be the only one out. Does the sewing needle need to be really thin to not warp the stitches, or do you just make yours way too tight? So, picking a sewing needle is sort of, it's one of those things where you have to find just the right one, because if your sewing needle is too thin, too small, it actually makes it harder. But if it's too big, then of course it is difficult to get underneath the stitches. So you want something that is, honestly about the same thickness as your thread, or maybe even a little bit, just a tiny bit thicker, because when you start sewing in the ends, the goal is to get underneath the stitches and not pierce through any of the thread. So it's also helpful if your needle is not super sharp. So if it's a little bit blunt, it's a little bit easier. And the needle, the size of the needle is going to create space to get the thread end through. So having it be just the right size to be able to get under the stitches and separate the stitches enough to pull that thread end through is what's going to be the most helpful. And it may distort the stitches a little bit as you pull it through, but if you just kind of work it with your fingers a little bit, it'll like reshape itself. If that helps. I hope that was helpful. A lot of people, like, their first instinct is to try to go smaller and smaller and smaller with the needle, and that's not always the best choice. And I split my thread ends. If you're using a actual tatting thread, this is very easy to do, just like splitting embroidery floss. And then I have smaller, thinner pieces to work in, so that makes it a little bit easier too. Yeah, you can absolutely do the whole thread, but I like to split the tail ends, partially because it makes it easier, but also because I like to tie a square knot, and because I use so many little tricks to put my two ends at different places, in order to tie a square knot, I have to split the thread. But I really like the finish that this gives me because my knot ends up really small, so you don't see it. It's not super bulky. And then, like I said, it's easier to sew a thinner end in. And I have honestly split the tails. If you're using a good, proper tatting thread that is 6 cord, I've split the tails on threads all the way down to a size 80. So it works on just about any tatting thread. And like I said, the goal is to actually get under those stitch legs. So I do 1 stitch at a time. So I'm going under two threads basically without piercing through either the core thread or the actual stitch thread. And you kind of get a feel for that. If you get under a stitch and then it kind of gets stuck, that usually means that you pierced the thread. So just like take it back out and try again. So if you've ever done like cross stitch or needlepoint or anything like that on Aida cloth, it's kind of like how when you work on Aida cloth, you want to hit those holes rather than splitting the actual fabric. That's kind of the feel that you want to aim for with getting underneath those stitches. Sandra. Gotta hide the threads from the kitties. Yeah, that's one reason why I do my ends as I go and clip them off as I go, because I don't like having all that mess to deal with at the end of a project. It feels very overwhelming, and also it helps keep it from getting tangled. It's just less mess. What in the world is that? Apparently we have some spinning pyramids. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Is that like a code for something? We're even gonna have some extra time today, y'all. Thanks, babe. Appreciate that. So do we want to stay on until 4 o'clock, or do y'all want to end the stream a little early today? Since I am just about finished up with mine. I don't know where everybody else is at. Or what y'all have going on. I do have another project I can break out, if y'all want to hang out a little bit longer. Good to stay on. Popping off at 4 to make charcuterie. That's what I had for dinner last night, basically. So it's only about 15 minutes until 4 o'clock, so we can hang out until 4 o'clock. 6 lock join chains to go on deco. Awesome. All right. Now we can just snip, snip. See, sewing ends isn't that bad. It's not that bad. Ta-da! She's looking a little wrinkly, but we're getting there. And that is the most difficult part of the pattern done. Woohoo! The next 2 rows are super easy. So, it'll look a lot better once it's blocked too. Yay! All right. Yeah, I think we can just hang out and chat for a little bit. We got about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes left. Get some more shuttle clicks in. What's my favorite color of thread to work with? Ugh, that's a hard question. I honestly use red a lot, various shades of red, and black, of course. But really, it's kind of weird because I'm one of those people where when I think about doing a design, I will see it in my head in a certain color. And then if I try to make it in a different color, it doesn't usually work out. So it really just kind of depends on the design and on the pattern. And, like, I get sort of obsessed with, like, different color stories, I guess, like, color themes. Like, lately I've been doing a lot with these, like, creams and very, like, desaturated pinks and purples, and, like, pearls and, like, that sort of thing. But it changes. It honestly changes a lot, very often. And I end up doing, like, different... I think that's one reason I like doing collections is because I can, like, make them thematic. Yeah, I totally get what you mean by that. Like, and it has to be the right shade of the color. Like, if I'm picturing something in the Victorian red thread, and I only have, like, the garnet red, I'm like, no, I can't do that. That's not the right color. Like, it's a little bit weird sometimes, but like I very much see things being completed in a specific color. And then once I've made it in that color, usually at that point, like I'll start to think about it being made in different colors, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I would like to make that in, you know, purple or black or a different color. But I have to make it in that first color first, or else like the design refuses to work. It's really strange sometimes. Ugh. Trying to think about what I have going right now, but everything I have actually on shuttles right now is black. I don't have any other color pieces in the progress right this minute. They're all black. End's done. Hooray! Good job, Sandra. I'm proud of you. Sky helped hold it. Very useful. Very useful kitty. Oh my goodness. It's gonna be nap time after this, y'all. Toddler hands happen. It's just one of those things. Make my thread balls look nice. This way I can make my little fancy little cover photo for the replay video. Bye, Imriel. Thanks for popping by. We're just about wrapped up anyways. I think I'm gonna need a new pin cushion soon, y'all. This one is starting to fall apart. Do I have a system to know what the thread was? What the thread color was? No, not really. Some of them I remember the color just because I've used them, like the color name. I don't remember the numbers, but like I know this one is called linen. I think this one's called cream, but I could be wrong. This one is Victorian red. This one is the antique violet, either dark or medium, and then I also have antique violet light. But some of them I just some of them I'm just like, yeah, that color was shit, let me go look. And I have to pull up the color chart on the website and like try to guess which one it was. I really should get a system. I should. I haven't been able to figure out a system that would let me keep the like tags attached because of the way that I put the balls on that pegboard. And like by the time, you know, some of my I go through thread pretty quickly. Yeah, Sandra, sometimes I end up ordering like 3 or 4 of, because, you know, Handy Hands has some colors that are like really, really close, and are called like really similar things. So I end up ordering like 3 or 4 different colors to try to figure out which one I actually had. Is there a technical benefit to using a post shuttle for chains with a bobbin shuttle for rings? No, not really. That's just my thing. That's just what I like. The post style, okay, so first of all, when I first started tatting, these were the only 2 styles of shuttle that I had access to. These were the only 2 styles of shuttle that I had available. So I got used to using them, and I got used to using them in this combination specifically over the years. And I like to have both the hook and the pick because I like the pick for opening rings and working back if I make a mistake. And I prefer the hook for joining, even though you can use a pick to join. I find the hook a lot easier. And I have just trained myself to always use them in that particular setup. So now, because I do front side, back side tatting, which I talked about in the video I just posted to my YouTube this morning, I talk about front side, back side tatting. When you do front side, back side tatting, which these reverse rings are one of the spots where I would need to do that, you have to reverse the order of the stitches. So instead of doing first half, second half to make a complete stitch, you do second half, first half, and it looks wrong on the back side. So at this point, I have trained my brain that at any point that I am using this shuttle to make a ring, I just do that automatically. And I don't have to think about that reversing the stitch order. Like, I've just like sort of trained myself to do it that way. So if I were to try using this shuttle as my first shuttle on the front side, I would end up having to unpick every ring every time I make it because I would just automatically do it the other way. But that's completely just a me thing. It's not something that like you have to do. There's not really a benefit to it other than that. A journal with small samples of the thread taped in it. That's actually really smart, Marna. Maybe I should order one of the spiral notebooks that I was talking about putting some branding stuff on and use that for keeping track of the thread names, because that's a good idea. Yeah, Sandra, it's like a muscle memory thing for me at this point, so. But, I mean, other than that, there's not a benefit to anyone else doing it that way. That's just what I like. And like, because I use 2 different kinds of shuttles, I never have to stop and think about, okay, which shuttle am I using for my chain and which one is my ring. Like, if I put a piece down and then pick it back up, I don't even have to think about it because they're 2 different styles of shuttles. Yeah, for the throne rings, for front side, back side tatting, you don't have to. It's completely not required. And it doesn't really change anything in terms of like the size of the ring. It's just in the look. So if you want to know more about the front side, back side tatting, go watch the video that I posted this morning because I explain it a little bit more in that video. But it really just has to do with the side that the picot falls on, like what side the picot looks nicer on. And I just kind of have a way of, yeah, so it's not, like I said, it's not required at all. It's totally just a personal preference thing. But yeah, go watch that video, and then if you still have questions about it, let me know, and I'll answer. Or, you know, leave a comment on it, whatever. And I'll try to explain it better. Like, to really explain it, like, I have to get into, like, the super technical aspect of how tatting is actually constructed. And that tends to get sort of in-depth and confusing sometimes without being able to, like, really illustrate it. So I try to explain it without going into too much detail. But it's one of those things where it's like, I can tell you to do this, but it's a lot easier if you understand why. Alright, it is 4 o'clock. So, does anybody else have any questions before I jump off of here? Give it a minute to make sure that everybody's good. I am glad that I managed to get the whole row done today, because that means I will be caught up for next week. And we can get started on the lower rows. We'll be doing row 3 next week. Yes, always so much fun. Even though today was a little bit shorter, all good. Okay, I will see you all later. I'll be back on stream Thursday for our regular Just Hangout stream. Don't know what I'm working on at this point. I think I'll probably be between projects at that point, so we might start something new. Yes, Kitty, I will not forget the kitty crown picks. You will get the kitty crown picks. Don't worry, they are coming. They're coming. And it's gonna be worth the wait. Yes. Okay. Awesome. All right, y'all have a good night, day, morning, whatever it is, wherever you are, and I will see you all later.